Now, I'm not a landscaping expert by any means, but I have done 2 landscaping jobs from scratch when I had a blank canvas with my husband. And I tell you, if you can get through landscaping with your partner, you can pretty much get through anything. They're a keeper. So I wanted to go over a few things today, mainly about when you are landscaping a blank canvas. And I know it can get very overwhelming, and it might be a good idea to kind of sit down and work out a plan. There's 4 or 5 things that you really need to make sure that you are taking care of when you are starting from scratch, and it's going over your budget. I see a lot of people when they are building their new home, the yard kind of gets forgotten about in the budget. They're like working meticulously on the details of their home, getting all the finishing details for that place, but when it comes to the outside, they completely either run out of money or they're just too tired to get started on this part too. So really look at your budget and make sure that you are going around shopping for things that you're going to need, like how much does it cost for sod, what kind of trees do you want, how much does a deck cost, what are my pavers going to cost. So go around, shop around, and kind of work on a budget. And remember, you don't have to do everything at once. I've been living in my property for about 5 years, and we're still working on our landscaping. We tackle big projects every year, and hopefully this year we'll be finally finished up. One thing I wanted to show you too is one thing that I see often when I'm showing houses is that the drainage of people's landscaping aren't done properly. So when you are going to be doing your landscaping, make sure your grading is done properly. Make sure it's away from your foundation. So when you have heavy rainfalls, you don't have water running back to your house. And actually, I don't know if you can see this behind me. Maybe I'll go back a little further. You'll see in the back of my property that I have a bunch of rocks, and that's actually a drain swale. So when it does rain hard here in my yard, all the water goes back there and it drains away from our property. So watch for your elevation surveys and get a professional to come out to do that for you properly. The next thing you need to worry about when you're landscaping is, what are you going to use your yard for? And what are you going to use it for in the future? You have to kind of think about, okay, say you want a hot tub, but you can't afford it right now. But maybe you should be planning for that ahead of time. So make sure you have a spot where you can, that's close to the house. Make sure it's close to your electrical panel. Other ideas would be like if you have kids. So you may be beautiful and pretty right now, but your kids have nowhere to play. So make sure you kind of think about these things ahead of time. Another thing I really like to stress is what is going to grow where in your house, or not in your house, but around your house. So if you really like these specific trees, but it only grows in really sunny areas, you have to watch where things can grow. For example, some of my perennials, they love super areas where it's sunny, whereas my hostas or my begonias, for example, really like the shade. One more thing you need to think about when you're landscaping is irrigation. I often see these amazing, beautiful landscaping ideas, and then we go to write an offer and there's no sprinkler system, or there's no water access for the front. So think about that when you're doing your landscaping. I know it may cost a little bit more money, but if it's done properly and you can time your water usage, it actually is a little bit better for the environment. Your water bill will actually be more controlled, and you'll have a better, nice looking yard because you won't forget to water it. If you are working with a builder right now with your custom home, don't forget about the outside of your house. I'm just going to do a couple of rapid fire things about some ideas for you to think about and talk to your builder with. Electrical. Electrical is a huge thing, not only to have front plugins for our cold winters, but having some type of plugins up top of your roof if you are the type that likes Christmas lights. Outside, if you're going to do some electrical for lighting around your yard, that's all really important. Another thing is your water valves. Make sure they're frost free for one thing. Also, make sure you have some type of water valve near the front of your house too. I have this really big yard, and I have 2 water valves outside, but it's hard for me to get my hose all the way up to the front. So something to think about. I wish I would have thought of that when I was building, but you forget. So those are two little tips that I would really strongly suggest when you are building from scratch. Also, when you're landscaping, you are going to want to remember to make sure that you take out the proper permits, especially if you're doing decks or patios. Maybe double check with Sask Energy and stake out your gas line, especially when you're trying to find a placement for your shed, your hot tub, or any concrete pads, because this will haunt you when you have to sell again and your shed is encroaching on the gas line. You have a vision, and there's people out there that can help you achieve that. They just design it for you, and any reputable landscaping company probably has somebody on staff that can do this for you. It's a good investment to have. I mean, they can talk you through what grows where, what would be good for privacy, what would be good for shade. Talk about all these elements about outdoor living that you may not have thought of in the first place. So